Hello students, now we will discuss about family and kinship. Family is a group of persons united by ties of marriage, it may be by blood or adoption, constitute a single household interacting or intercommunicating with each other in their respective social roles as wife and husband, father and mother, or son and daughter, and so on, creating a common culture. According to MacIver, family is a group defined by a sexual relationship sufficiently precise and enduring to provide for the procreation and upbringing of children. So, marriage is going to allow the couple to set up a family, satisfy the requirements. Let us discuss the characteristics of family. Across the world, you will find the family. It is universal in nature. Each and every family is going to have a place to reside, a fixed place for habitation. And there is some kind of financial provision made in each and every family so that they can satisfy the requirements. And when we talk about family, my dear friends, the size is limited. It can be 2 or 3 members, sometimes it can go beyond that. It depends on the will and wish of the individuals, their biological conditions, their social as well as economical conditions too. And the families may vary from society to society based on the social customs, traditions, rules of residence, and even types of marriage. Each and every family is going to be known or identified by a distinctive name. And family is based on certain sentiments like love and affection, sympathy towards each other, cooperation between wife and husband, and even friendship too. Without these sentiments, remember, no family can sustain. Without love and affection, no family can sustain. So, these are the basic characteristics of family. Now, let us discuss about the types of families. Families can be classified into 3 types. One is nuclear family, second one is extended family, and the third one is joint family. In the nuclear family, we have only wife and husband without children or with their unmarried children. If they are going to stay under one roof, then we call it as nuclear family. Only 2 generations of people are staying together, then we call it as nuclear family. Then if 2 or more nuclear families are going to come together, then we call it as extended family. For example, I am residing in Hyderabad, mine is a nuclear family, and my brother is there at Warangal, and it is also a nuclear family. So, we 2 families are affiliated through an extension of parents, then we call it as extended family. The third one is joint family. In this joint family, minimum 3 generations of people are going to stay together. That means grandparents, parents and children. Minimum 3 generations of people are going to stay under one roof. They are going to cook the food on one hearth, collective dining, collective religious activities, collective economical activity, and the authority is exercised by the elder members of the family. Then we call it as joint family. So, we have 3 types of families: nuclear, extended and joint families. So, all this comes under based on the composition of members. Now, when we talk about types of families based on authority, we can classify them into 2 types, my dear friends. One is patriarchal family and the other one is matriarchal family. In the patriarchal family, remember P for Papa. Papa or the elder male member of the family is going to exercise all the authority in the family. Then we call it as patriarchal family. In the matriarchal family, elder female member of the family is going to exercise all the authority in the family. Then we call it as matriarchal. M for mama, remember that. P for papa, it will be easy for you to remember. Based on descent, we can classify the families into 2 types. One is patrilineal and the other one is matrilineals. Ours is a patriarchal system, so we are traced from the father's side, so we call it as patrilineal. If the children are traced from the mother's side or from the female side, then we call it as matrilineal. So, based on descent, we have two types, and based on the relationship which exists among the individuals, it is of two types, my dear friends. One is conjugal. Any relation or any family which has been established based on marriage, then we call it as conjugal family. We call it as non-blood relationship. Then a couple got married and they have given birth to a child. So, mother and child, they are treated as blood relations. So, we call it as consanguine family. Based on residence, we can classify the families into 5 types. After the marriage, if the couple is going to stay with the girl's parents or the bride's family, then we call it as matrilocal family. After the marriage, if they are going to stay with the groom's parents, then we call it as patrilocal. Sometimes when both the bride and groom, their families are very close, or because of their economical condition, if they are going to stay in both the families, then we call it as bilocal family. After the marriage, if the couple are going to stay with the groom's maternal uncle, then we call it as avunculocal family. Or else if the couple is going to set up a new family, separate family, then we call it as neolocal. So, based on residence, families can be classified into 5 types. And based on marriage, my dear friends, families can be classified into 2 types. One is monogamous family. That means one boy is going to get married to one girl. We call it as monogamous family. But if a boy is going to have getting married with multiple wives, or if a girl is going to get married with multiple boys like, then we call it as polygamous family. So, based on marriage, we can classify it into 2 types. Now, let us discuss the functions of family. According to Kingsley Davis, the functions of family is divided into 4 types: reproduction, maintenance, placement and socialization of the young. According to Ogburn and Nimkoff, they have classified the functions of family into 6 types: affectional function, economical function, recreational function, protective, religious as well as educational function. Now, let us see the changing trends. The joint families are being broken up into nuclear families because of globalization, because of industrialization and so on. And in the so-called industrial societies, people are giving much importance only to the conjugal relations, nothing but to the relations which has been established based on marriage, not to the blood relations anymore. The economical functions of the families have undergone tremendous change. Both the wife and husband are working, they are earning the property on their own, and the size of family is shrinking. Once upon a time, people used to give birth to more children, but right now people are confining to 1 or 2 children. And even we also have a new concept called DINKS, dual income. Wife and husband, both of them are earning dual income but no kids. We don't want to have children at all. That is what is happening. Even the functions which were earlier done or taken up by the family, like educating the child, taking care of the child, all these have been outsourced, my dear friends. Now, let us discuss about kinship. Kinship is nothing but the relationship which exists between the individuals, mostly based on blood relations. There are 2 types of kins. One is consanguine kin and the other one is affinal kin. Consanguine kin is called as blood relatives and affinal is based on marriage, my dear friends. So, we are going to have 3 degrees of kinship: primary kins, secondary and tertiary. If people are directly connected with each other, then we call it as primary kin. My wife, my mom, my brother, all we are primary kins. But the primary of the primary, we call it as secondary kins. For example, my wife's parents are my secondary kins. To my spouse, my parents are the secondary kins. Third, the primary relatives of the secondary, we call it as tertiary. For example, maternal uncle's wife, grandchildren's spouse, and so on. And we also have kinship terminology like descriptive and classificatory. Any relation which exists between two or more people, which is common, we call it as brother. That is the example. When we talk about classificatory, there is only one word, but it may indicate multiple relations which exist between the people. When I talk about uncle, he can be my maternal uncle or it can be paternal, and so on, my dear friends. In terms of kinship usages, we have difference, that means we need to give respect to the elders, and we have joking relations between brother-in-law and sister-in-law, or between the grandparents and the grandchildren, and so on. And we also have avoidance, that means in front of son-in-law, mother-in-law must not come, or in front of father-in-law, daughter-in-law must not come. So we have certain usages in terms of this. Till now we have studied about family, its types, its functions, as well as we also discussed about kinship, its types too. Thank you.